Jon Stewart, ex-host of The Daily Show, was recently on the Joe Rogan podcast. With Jon being vegan and having an animal sanctuary and Joe being a hunter, the topic of animal rights inevitably came up. Jon posed some great questions to Joe, but Joe's answers were straight up bull. So let's put this nonsense straight right now.
Do you have moral qualms about meat, or do you not? Like you said, we're hunters and that, like, is that ever an issue for you, or is it purely a health issue? Or is it?
There's both things.
No, there's not. You sided with Game Changers producer James Wilkes over Chris Kress's position that a vegan diet is inherently unhealthy. You told James that he knocked the debate straight out of the park and admitted that a vegan diet can be perfectly healthy. I know that you claim that game meat is healthy, but it's not. It still contains the same fat, trans fats and cholesterol that lead to the #1 cause of death in humans, coronary heart disease. Yes, processed plant foods like oil and sugar are unhealthy, but all meat is unhealthy too. Game meat may be slightly less unhealthy than the meat produced on factory farms, but it's a lot like choosing to be stabbed with a 9-inch blade rather than a 10-inch blade, i.e., it'll still kill you.
There is a moral qualm with factory farming. There's not a moral qualm with hunting.
You are killing a feeling sentient being that wants to be with their friends and family, that feels joy and love, that runs from violence, that screams under the knife just like we do. You are robbing them of the most precious thing that they have. It can never be ethical to kill someone that does not want to die. Ludicrous.
I know the reality of the life of a deer. If you don't kill that deer, it's gonna die a horrible death from a wolf or a coyote or a mountain lion or whatever the gets a hold of it.
Is it? How come they're so overpopulated then, as you hunters are so fond of lamenting? You could die a horrible death tomorrow. Is it kinder to shoot arrows into your chest today? If you say no, you're proving that you're a hypocrite. And if ecology is really important to you, like you say it is, why do you want the predators to all die out? You are not saving animals, you are merely adding to the death toll. Predators seek out the old and the weak and the sick. You are preferentially targeting the biggest, strongest animals with the largest horns and antlers. You are actively weakening the gene pool. Ecologist, my. And which predator were you saving this bear from that you shot dead? Only humans. Whole humans with big grins on their faces because they get hard when they take someone's life. Your excuses are bull. You enjoy to kill. You have no remorse. You love it, but you don't have the balls to admit it.
It's gonna freeze to death.
If they all freeze to death each winter, how come there's plenty around for you to torment and kill?
You can either die quickly by the hand of a person, and you will respect that life and it'll nurture your body and the bodies of your family.
Do they always die quickly, Joe? Or does it often go terribly wrong? I know that they often get away, only to bleed to death slowly, and you do too. They suffer horrendously, physically and mentally, often for prolonged periods. They are in terror. You terrorize them. However quick it may be, it still really hurts. Don't bull us and don't bull yourself. Also, is it okay for someone to kill you quickly, Joe? They respect you and are from a family of cannibals, so you will nourish all of their bodies. Does that make you feel okay about it? Or are you talking complete? We keep getting your perspective as the oppressor, that it's absolutely fine. Try being the victim. I guarantee you'll change your tune pretty quickly.
Our problem is a disconnection more than anything.
Yeah, you've disconnected from your innate compassion. You had it brainwashed out of you at a young age by someone who should have known better. Your humanity has been corrupted and you're so far gone you can't see it. Instead, you come up with bull excuses to justify the needless suffering. I find it hard to fathom how someone as intelligent as you cannot see how silly your excuses sound.
And I think that there's a lot of people that share your position on animal death. And I think that's one of the more promising aspects of laboratory-created meat, as long as it can be done in a way that's actually going to be healthy for us.
For food to be healthy, it needs to be in its whole form, as it grew out of the ground. Food with a face and an asshole and a mum and a dad can never be healthy. The USDA says to eat more fruits and veg and less fat, trans fat and cholesterol. That's code for animals and animal secretions. The very agency that's charged with promoting animal products says that.
it seems like there's some real science behind that, and they're very, very close to releasing that on a large scale. So it would be actual meat that doesn't come with death, which is really fascinating.
Fascinating does not save lives, Joe. Will you switch, or will you keep killing unnecessarily? I guess if you had ethics, you wouldn't be eating dead bodies from fast food joints now. So I guess the answer is no.
If you could still have the part of meat that you like, but it came without death, do you think you would make that switch, or is that something that...
Well, I certainly would with domestic animals.
Yep, I knew it. You'd keep killing just because you enjoy it. No morals.
The difference between that and hunting, there's a conservation aspect of it.
Now Joe's pretending to be a conservationist when he currently funds animal agriculture, the biggest threat to the environment on the face of the planet. Thousands of acres of rainforest burned down every day to make room for farmed animals and their feed crop. Off with your lies and lame excuses.
One thing that leads to protection of wildlife habitat is actually the money that comes from hunting tags and hunting equipment.
How convenient. That money is cool. If conservation is so important to you, donate the huge amount of money that you'd have spent on equipment, taxes, and a license. It will be many times more. You won't, will you? Get out of here with your bull lies and excuses.
There's also the type of relationship you have with your food when you actually work very hard and hunt it and kill it is very different than buying food from a store.
Hunting is more ethical than eating beans and rice. Hell, just shut up now. Jeffrey Dahmer seduced, drugged, chopped up and ate many humans. Did that make it ethical? And again, you buy meat at a drive-thru. What are you talking about? You're just chatting.
You know, if I shoot an elk, I eat it literally for a year.
If you just ate one elk, that may be a bit better than eating farmed animals as well, but you do eat farmed animals as well. Another bull argument, wakey.
So one animal death equals like a year of my meals.
I smell bull.
I understand that there's people that look at life very differently than me. They maybe don't have the sort of fatalistic perspective, even though it's respectful.
You and I seem to have two very different ideas about what's respectful. My definition would include not causing harm to others, while yours is, well, mental.
I have a very fatalistic perspective when it comes to just all organic organisms competing for resources and for life.
Just because there is suffering and death in nature does not mean that we need to add to it. Another load of to try and absolve yourself from blame.
These animals, I mean, I've run into them when they've killed each other. I've seen animals that have been taken out by other animals. I've come across their bodies torn apart by wolves in the woods. It's a wild, wild thing out there.
Yeah, terrible, isn't it? And instead of acting civilized, you act just as savagely as the predators that you bemoan. At least they don't have moral agency, Joe. What's your excuse?
There's nothing natural about a farm.
There's nothing natural about high-power rifles, scopes, jeeps, GPS trackers, and camouflage clothing either. So you just debunked yourself.
That's part of the problem. I mean, it's an animal prison, and they're domesticated because we give them food and we kind of remove the natural fear that they would have of any, eyeball facing forward predator, which is what we are.
No. Check out this video where I outline 51 reasons as to why we are not predators. We're primates, and like the hundreds of other primate species, the healthiest food for us is whole plant foods. That's enough of this buffoonery. Now click this.